here today to have a look at this old Apac unit. So you can obviously tell we've got some issues. Someone was here yesterday, I believe, having a look at it, and they wanted us to come back and replace the two 12 UF capacitors for the outdoor fans. But as you can see, we've got other problems as well. It's a bit of ice, and also they were saying that the stage 2, for whatever reason, had been disconnected from here and wired into the bottom of the fan contactor, the indoor fan contactor. So not sure 100% what's going on there, but we'll just start by replacing that, and then we'll gauge up and have a look at this. See, it sounds absolutely delightful. It's now on 7, which is a defrost 1, so not surprising. So probed up, seeing it's still going through a defrost though. Pretty good. So we'll just wait for it to go through its defrost, settle down, and then we'll pay attention to our measurements. But yeah, it's getting there. So while we're waiting, have a quick look at these filters. No, they are clean. So I reckon this is out of a defrost now. Now, not surprisingly, I'll put the pressures up, but we're obviously flooding back. Now, still got ice on our coil here and ice on the compressor. So what I want to do, like I said, I've got some other things I need to replace those capacitors and work out why stage 2 isn't wired in. Try to work out what's going on with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut this thing down, let that just defrost naturally. If I need to get a hose up here, I will. And then that way, so we can kind of go through, once everything's clear, free of ice, and check it all out. Now, I did have a look before. You might not be able to see, but you can actually see through the coil. It looks a little bit damaged, but you can see through it. So yeah, let's shut this thing down for a minute. So I found this before as well. So this is our power cable for stage 2, which is obviously either just fallen off or it's been pulled off for whatever reason. I'm not sure. I'll obviously test it before we get it back up and running. Yeah, but we'll change these first. So I disconnected the wires to my fan for outdoor fan 2, and we are getting a reading from our active to earth, like I said, with everything else disconnected. So I reckon we've got a bad fan. I would have expected it to say 0. I might not be making great contact. Let me see if I can make better contact. To get rid of the remaining ice, I'm just going to disconnect the reversing valve so this thing runs in cooling mode, so this coil will get hot. Much better. So I've just turned it back on to reconnect the reversing valve, so I'll go back into heating mode. I've reapplied power and I've left the other fan disconnected just for the time being. Anyway, we will just heard the indoor fan kick on then. Okay. I've just gone ahead and adjusted my TXV closed a bit. So after slightly adjusting the TXV, you can see discharge temp's coming up, condensing temp's gone up, superheat's looking okay. Still a little low on our suction. It's not the warmest today, so I've still got that stage 2 disconnected. So you can see after the removal, the ice and an adjustment of the TXV, our pressure's looking a hell of a lot better. Yeah, 6K superheat, discharge temp around 70 degrees. I think we're looking a lot better. I think our main issue here is that stage 2 condenser fan. So just packed up and got off the roof. Basically, discharge temp stabilized out at around 85 degrees, which is a hell of a lot better. Superheat was kind of, bouncing around, but averaged about 5 to 6K, which is awesome. So I've left stage 2 disconnected. That fan motor is obviously faulty. We will come back and replace that. But in the interim, yeah, I'll probably put those 2 videos together. So cut back to me with the fan motor. Today I am here to replace the indoor fan motor on this Mitsubishi Electric high-wall split. Just making a bearing noise, so we'll get into it. We'll go find the outdoor unit and isolate it. This looks like our outdoor unit here. So for whatever reason, I've got the barrel as well and the sleeve bearing. All we really needed was that, so I'm not sure why I've got the rest of it, but we'll pull it out and continue on our way. So my process for removing these fans is usually the same on a lot of these older models. The older ones you'll see, there'll be a grub screw. If I can get, there you go, so that little grub screw there that's holding the barrel onto the shaft of the fan motor that sits right here. So I'll usually drop the board, it gives you access to that side of the fan. Then I usually just pull out those screws there, prop up the coil, slide out the barrel, take out the fan motor. But yeah, we'll get this get this board out of the way and I'll show you what's behind there. That's the loom for our fan motor. Yep. I'll take out this one here. And this one here. Cool. Taking out that, I'm going to take out that. It's disconnected, so we should be able to drop this board down now. Now, like I said, slightly different between manufacturer to manufacturer, but on this one here, you can see I've got the screw here and a screw up there that I need to remove. That'll remove this bracket, undo the grub screw, slide out. I actually forgot with these old Mitsubishis, there's that secret bloody screw. Not that first one, but the one right back there. So you got to actually drop the drain pan to get it. It's a real prick. I always take the grub screw out because I can't tell you the amount of times that I would try to like just undo it a little bit and then inevitably it would just fall and you'd lose it. So now it's just a habit of mine just to take it out fully. Alrighty, now that all of my screws are removed, let's see if I can do this with one hand. Should be able to go. Boom. Here's the old one, and here's the noise it was making. It's the new one for comparison. And literally, just push up the coil gently, pop, and drop. Right, new fan barrel's in, screws are back in. We'll go back to that side and get the actual fan motor in. Make sure it's aligned properly so we're not hitting the sides. Get the ball back in and test. So I usually just try to position the barrel evenly on both sides. Then give it a bit of a spin. Sweet, doesn't sound like it's hitting anything. We'll get that grub screw back in. Okay, starting to reassemble a unit. The misters are back, earth's back. This is all back in place. Pretty much ready to turn on and test. The only thing you do need to worry about or be concerned about, not concerned about, that's even a bit of an exaggeration, aware of, this little switch here. Let me do this. All right. If you ever have these older Mitsubishis that have to slide in, actually I'll grab the louver and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And you can see there, basically once it goes through, it locks that little switch in place. If you don't do that, it'll blink continuously with the 2 LEDs here. Cool. So I've just touched it on the heating. We'll run it through a bit of a test for 20 minutes, make sure that it, when the unit kind of expands, it doesn't start to rub on anything. But outside of that, I think we're sweet. Sweet. We're running for about 15, 20 minutes now and no signs of any noise. So pretty happy with that. I think we're done here.